Looking at the chart since my last video, and absolutely nothing has changed. At this rate, I would be expecting fireworks if this trend line is to be broken, or the exact moment a new crypto daily video is published to YouTube. So are there alts any more interesting than Bitcoin is right now? Maybe ones that are hot and cheap? Well, that is a great question posed by myself. The answer is yes, all of them. But let's discuss how to determine if something is cheap. Hot is in the eye of the beholder. Now, personally, I am none too interested in most things unless it meets two trading criteria. Now, just to be clear, I don't care how good the technology is. I really don't. It can confirm so quickly a transaction that it technically went back in time and confirmed it before you even sent it. Not sure how that's possible. Or if the network is so secure, it could literally survive an asteroid destroying the planet. I still don't care. Who uses coins for their intended purpose anyway? It needs to do one of or both of these two things. Number one, high liquidity. Mainly because, well, anyway, you're more specifically looking at the top 50, top 20. I personally have zero tolerance for more risky ventures unless I somehow have some insider information. And that's been the case for a long time now. You, on average, make better returns with less risk with higher liquidity coins. So, yeah. And number two, very crucial, trading low against its key moving averages. Very low. Yes, exactly like that. Now, Bitcoin is, of course, itself trading above all of them. And this is kind of what you would expect to see in a bull market. But let's look at the alts. First up, Ethereum. Now, let me remove those. Those are spoilers. I drew these lines probably like a month ago now at this point. Oh well. So we're going to throw up the 50-day EMA and the 100-day. 100 being yellow, 50 being purple. First thing you notice is, that's a nice color. But whenever the asset is trading below that 50-day EMA, it will have a tendency to break out, try and trade above it, if not at least on top of it. Unsurprisingly, currently ETH is trading well below it. To see just how low, I'm going to use a percentage tool just to sort of visualize it. Just before the rally, it was around 10% less, 5%, 10%, and we are currently 17% below it. So that's pretty much almost double anything in recent history. So we are definitely treading new ground here where, well, I'll get to that in a second. But things aren't acting as they usually have done, even just going back a few months. Not sold on my pseudo analysis so far? Well, first off, how dare you? And second, here's a really good example. Bitcoin Cash. Now, with all of these alts, I am using their Bitcoin pairings, not their USD pairings, because that's more, I don't know, gives you a bit of a better analysis. Anyway, so more specifically looking at this huge rally that happened after it bottomed out in mid-December. Look how low it was against its 50-day EMA. Now, this rally here, in my opinion, is not fundamentals, it's not developments, it's not marketing. It is simply, what is it? Liquidity and oversold conditions from those who want more Bitcoin, simply. At its lowest, it was 46% lower. That has to be some sort of record. And look where it hit resistance, just above it. Let's have a look at XRP. Now, I am really starting to like XRP. You know, having done my research about the project, looking into it more, I can quite comfortably say that it has some of the best memes out there. The charts look absolutely dismal. We got all types of death crosses being formed in March, and it's just been pretty much brutality ever since. That doesn't mean the XRP boys don't have a dose of hopium for you, however. It's just a little bit more of a macro level. Zoom out. A little bit like a heartbeat for XRP, which is almost flatlining. But anyway, the first beat, massive. Second, third. So even if the fourth is a declining in size spike, it would still be considerable in terms of gains. Anyway, I'm enjoying this. What's next? Litecoin. currently 14% lower than the 50-day moving average. And just last week, before the major rally, it was 26%. Anyway, what we've learned from this pseudo-analysis here today is that colored lines are pretty. And in addition, conditions are not just ripe currently for alts to make some pretty decent gains. They're overripe. They're getting a bit sour, actually. It's been so long. And I would personally just be looking to get into them just until they get over their 50-day moving average and then going back into Bitcoin. You'd have to wait for a continued downtrend on the Bitcoin dominance charts to have some reassurance that the gains long-term are going to be better than Bitcoin. But am I practicing what I preach? Hell no. I'm just talking about this because I find it interesting. Not intended to be financial advice. I am mainly holding Bitcoin at the moment because I'm lazy. Taxes on trade suck, and the effort of keeping an eye on all of these coins and moving from one to the other, it's a little much. Anyway, in the news generally, Bakkt to launch user testing Bitcoin futures today. Now, this is the first time I'm talking about Bakkt, and it's not me memeing in like a long time. I like that word, memeing. It's just a test for now. They will be launching their products Q3 of this year, an institutional offering of futures that are actually Bitcoin settled, not cash. So hopefully more volume, hopefully some movement upwards.
Very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11.
Whatever it means, it's definitely good for Bitcoin. According to a report by Fundstrat, they definitely see that being the case, and I quote, "There appears to be a critical mass of adopters ready to come on board day one of the Bakkt launch, with the sales team gaining traction among brokers, market makers, prop trading desks, and liquidity providers. Bottom line, there is a community of institutional investors and vendors that is readying to port world-class systems from traditional asset classes and markets into the crypto world. The Bakkt launch could be a huge accelerator for market growth." Now, just reading that paragraph, the way it comes across, the way it's meant to be impartial but just sounds dosed and infused with hopium, actually sounds kind of bearish to me. I'd hope for a little bit more professionalism. This sounds like someone who is desperate for the price to go up. But we can dream, can't we? We can dream. We'll see. Hopefully it will be. But thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one.